What's going on, guys? So I am still out here at the Detroit Auto Show, aka North American International Auto Show, and we are showing you some interesting things, but I think for the folks that watch my channel, this is probably going to be one of the most interesting. I don't really know what you would call this except maybe an exposed chassis. This is a company called Harbinger. They have a really cool little box van over there, and with me I have Will. So Will, you want to kind of introduce yourself and what you do with this company?
Sure, I'm Will Eberts, one of the co-founders and COO of Harbinger. We're a medium-duty chassis manufacturer. We got started 18 months ago, and we're premiering our brand and our chassis at the auto show.
Did you just say 18 months ago?
We did.
I have shoes older in your company. That's crazy. And to see what you have out here is pretty awesome. When I first saw this, what do you want to call this right now? Just an exposed chassis, perhaps?
It's a strip chassis, we call it.
So they got a strip chassis right here. I noticed the frame rails, and right off the bat, I'm thinking these are galvanized, and that's a pretty cool thing. Is that a feature, an option? Is that something that you include on your truck, your chassis?
Right. That's actually something that industry has demanded, basically. I think everybody's going there. We were originally powder coating, but we're going to galvanize all of our chassis.
Yeah, in a world where e-coating, powder coating is kind of the direction that most people have gone, it's really cool to see that galvanized is actually becoming a thing in the commercial medium-duty truck industry. Anyways, what are we looking at right here? Can you kind of walk us through what we're seeing, because this is really cool, and I asked a very important question that's going to apply to folks who watch my YouTube channel, and that is, can this be applied to an RV chassis? Could you use this as an RV chassis? And he gave me a huge absolutely. So RV manufacturers, you watch the channel, give this guy a call, because I want to see one of these converted into an RV. But first of all, show me what we have going on over here, and specifically why we have a steering wheel disconnected from the body of this this chassis.
Right, so we have a lot going on over here. So this is our first strip chassis. This is a class 5 chassis, but we're concentrating on classes 4 to 7.
Okay.
The steering wheel over here is our steer-by-wire example. Okay. So steer-by-wire is all electronics. No steering column, no direct connection with the steering axle. Also on the chassis, we have our own battery packs. We build our battery packs in-house. We integrate everything from the cell up. We build our own modules, our battery packs. Those are scalable in 35 kilowatt increments. We have 4 on this chassis, but it's very fungible in terms of how much range you want. Also in the back is our proprietary e-axle. That's also designed and manufactured in-house. Long-term plan is to manufacture it with our partners, our JV partners, Electroforge.
Very cool. Real quick, I want to talk to you about something. Let's walk over to your chassis. Okay, so Will, one of the things that I'm noticing about your chassis here is because you don't have a huge diesel or gas motor, you really can't call this like a pusher or a front engine unit, because the reality is the setup up front takes up such small amount of real estate, and you don't have anything in the back, that almost everything can be used for development of whatever you're putting on this chassis.
Right, it's an extremely flexible platform. This is our alpha, and then we still have a little bit of our auxiliary systems up here, but our beta and our production units will basically have all of that gone, and we'll be level with the floor. So we have a low floor. This is about 10 inches lower than the conventional strip chassis right now at 59 or whatnot. So we offer a low floor, and like you pointed out, it'll be completely flat up front, so it'll be much more flexible in terms of whatever body you want to put onto it.
Yeah, that is absolutely cool. And one of the reasons why when you look at your large Class A motorhomes or even Class C motorhomes, they're designed the way they are is because they have to factor in the engine. They have to factor in where that stuff's going to go. Now, the challenge you would have with this in terms of an RV would be you have your huge batteries that sit between the frame rails, and that's typically where a holding tank or something like that might go. But you have a lot of space off to the side, though, that you could easily incorporate holding tanks and things like that on this type of unit. That's very cool. So, as configured here, I mean, you said did you say class 5 through 7?
4
right.
through 7.
4 through 7. Okay, so classes 4 through 7. What would you consider this behind us?
This is a class 5.
So this is a class 5. So class 5 is going to put you right under 20,000 pounds, and then class 6 will put you right over 25,000 pounds. With a setup like this, with the batteries that you have in place, if you're building this up and loading it up to max GVWR, what would you anticipate the range being with the maximum capacity of batteries installed?
You know, it's really hard to say because the body has different, aero characteristics depending on what you put on it. But for the box, for the step van that we have over here, the range would be about 160 with four packs. So that's 40 miles for a 35 kilowatt hour pack.
All right, so they're really ideal for like regional service or local service for deliveries, things like that, right? Where you don't need 1,000 miles of range, but you will have a vehicle that's going to come back and be recharging possibly throughout the day. Is that kind of the idea? Right,
that's the idea for the step van, which is our original focus, or our first focus. One thing about the RV space, which I think you're interested in, is that this is our shortest wheelbase.
Okay.
So obviously RVs are built on a much longer wheelbase, above 200 inches. And that obviously creates a lot more room for battery packs. So we will be able to have expanded range options.
Okay.
And we also, you pointed out, have all of the battery packs within the frame rails. That's a very important feature for a lot of our delivery partners. But it is possible to mount other auxiliary systems or battery packs on the outside of the frame rails as well to get even more range.
All right. So from a wheelbase perspective, do you make this in a tag axle option where you have dual axles in the back, or is it only in a single axle configuration right now?
Right now, we're just focusing on a single axle.
Okay.
That might be something to explore later, but we really want to stay focused on our initial chassis production at first.
Okay. And I see leaf sprung rear suspension. Have you explored like electronic or maybe a hydraulic or even air type suspension in the rear at this point?
No, we're pretty confident in the suspension in the rear.
Yeah, if you can, show me some of what you have going on here in the back.
So this is our in-house e-axle. It's an electric motor on this action, on this part, and then it's geared to two half shafts. It's partially strung. It's a Dedion tube axle, so it's partially floating. What's most important about that is that the e-axle is isolated from axle loads, so the durability is a lot greater than if it was.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So the axle, if you actually look at it, the axle tapers back this way and swings around. So it's almost like a multi-link system in the way that the axle rocks like this, as opposed to going straight up and down.
Right.
Yep. Very cool. And again, check these leaf springs out. Absolutely insane. So that's cool. So you got disc brakes all the way around as well. And on the front, you have independent suspension, don't you?
We do, and that provides a couple of advantages. One of which is an extremely short front overhang. That's important for a lot of delivery partners in terms of driver visibility. A low overhang just creates a better driver visibility angle. We're able to bring that front overhang in basically just to the front of the tires.
Oh, that's very cool, man. Well, this is absolutely something that I didn't expect to see out here. This is awesome. I love kind of the trend towards developing vehicles like this and platforms like this with more usable space on top of the frame rails, while at the same time kind of giving you optional capabilities in terms of battery capacity where you can place them, and just the use of more modern technology. I love the fact that you guys have a galvanized frame. That's awesome. But anything else you'd like to mention before we wrap the video up?
We're very new, obviously, so this is our first product. We're also looking to add a cab chassis in the future. And I guess the other point is that we're extremely vertically integrated. We have our battery packs in-house, our e-axle in-house, and that enables us to offer a chassis with price parity with existing ICE chassis. You'll see other chassis, EV chassis in this class that are about 3 or 4x times the ICE equivalent. We're shooting for complete acquisition cost parity with existing ICE axles or chassis.
So basically, you want to go head-to-head against internal combustion engines versus just trying to compete against electric vehicles, which are going to be multiple times more expensive than what your current setup is.
Right. We see electric as the future. We're the harbinger of the electric era. in commercial vehicles, we believe.
Oh, very cool. Well, Will, I definitely appreciate you coming on camera and talking about it. The thing about being out here at the Detroit Auto Show is you have journalists that just come up to you ad hoc and just start asking a bunch of really random questions that you have no time to prepare for. One of the ones I asked initially was, can you turn the radio off? Because they had a radio going, and yeah, YouTube copyright issues and all that jazz. Anyways, Will, I definitely appreciate you coming on camera. And guys, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you expect to see in this type of product as well, because you guys, 18 months, which means you're still constantly developing, constantly innovating. And who knows, maybe if they watch the channel and they see something really interesting from folks in the industry or folks who are just trying to get into figuring out what the next leap in technology for RV technology is going to be, well, this might be it. Definitely appreciate your time again. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yep.
Thanks.
Guys, if you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and I got more Detroit Auto Show content coming to you soon.